And welcome to the first ever episode of the Sports Coverage Podcast. I'm Andrew here alongside my co-host Vince. So Vince, how do you feel about starting this podcast for the first time?
No, I feel great, and I think we're gonna have a fun time with it, honestly.
So just before we get started, our socials are all over the screen right now. I'm sure you can see them. So if you want to get updates and stuff like that on when we're going to be posting, check out the Instagram. If you want audio only, check out the Spotify, and of course subscribe to the YouTube, which you are probably watching on right now. So Sports Coverage Podcast, we are obviously going to talk about sports and cover them for you. And we're going to try to make this a weekly thing so that we can give you just what's going on in sports every week so that you're always up to date. So with that, we're going to start with the NBA and jump right into it. So we're going to first talk about one of the biggest offseason trades that are potentially looming and things that everyone's been talking about. Damian Lillard. Vince, what do you got on Dame?
Yeah, so he did request a trade earlier in July, and it was looking like he wanted to go to Miami. But the Heat haven't really solidified a trade offer, and the Blazers are kind of rejecting everything that had been sent by Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. And looking forward right now, I do not think that Dame will get traded this offseason. I think they're going to wait till the deadline because, he wants out, and they're definitely not trading him in the offseason for sure. That's all I know.
So as it's looking right now, the two other teams that were kind of the big contenders for Dame as well, the Nets and the Celtics, who have been talked about like as potentially being part of this Dame trade for a while now. Earlier in the offseason, the Nets signed Cam Thomas to an extension, which rules him out for the trade. And he was someone that the Blazers would potentially wanted. And it seems like they're also unwilling to trade Mikal Bridges. And the same can be said for the Celtics. They've made a lot of off-season extensions and signings
Yeah.
and stuff. So I think the Celtics are out of it right now. So I think the Blazers are really, like you said, waiting for the Heat to make a real offer for them.
Yeah, I truly believe that Dame won't get traded this offseason. I mean, also going to what you said with the Celtics, I personally think it's not the right move to give up such a star shooting guard in Jaylen Brown for,
Yeah.
still an MVP caliber player in Damian Lillard,
Right.
but he's also getting old. You have to think like Jaylen Brown is up and coming, and I think he's going to be the next big shooting guard.
Right. Yeah. And with the Nets, I was thinking, what can the Nets really give up? Like the Nets would have needed to give up a good amount of their team to get Dame. So then it's really gonna be Dame like as the team, like if they're willing to get a trade going. Same Celtics, probably not, but I don't think the Celtics trade's happening right now. So what do you think the Heat need to give up for the Blazers that will keep the Heat as a contending team with Dame, but also give the Blazers a good return?
I think they need a 3-team trade, and that's where the Nets come in big time.
Right, yeah.
Although, hold on, Damian Lillard will not go to the Nets. He will go to the Heat, obviously, as you know.
Well, he
But the
said
Heat
that,
are,
yeah.
yeah. But the Heat are going to have to give up like their first round pick this year, Jaime Jaquez Jr., and they're also going to have to give up possibly Duncan Robinson or Nikola Jovic.
Right. And the
Now,
question, yeah.
I've also with the Nets and what they're getting back, I feel like is sentimental. Also, I feel like they would get Tyler Hero to be in that starting position. Yeah, they're not getting Damian Lillard, who they're trying to get,
Right,
but
yeah.
they're also getting a young shooting guard that is up and coming, also on the rise.
So if that trade were to happen, do you think all three teams would benefit from it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I do think the Heat obviously would win the trade. I mean, you're getting Dame,
Oh, definitely, yeah.
but the only problem is they're giving up young stars, and they're also giving up a lot of first round picks.
So
As you know, they're giving up like
right, yeah.
4 or 3. You know,
So it won't really benefit them in the long run. But backing up for a second, the question is, are the Blazers even willing to trade Dame at this point?
not right now, honestly, Andrew. I think they're gonna have to wait to the trade deadline, like I've already said. Yeah.
All right. Um, so I think that we will update you on the Damian Lillard trade situation as this kind of keeps progressing. We haven't really heard a lot about it in a few weeks, which is telling me
Yeah.
that this trade could potentially not
Not
happen
happen exactly.
for
Yeah.
not happen now, but it could
Oh,
happen
yeah.
in a few
In the
months
long
down the
run,
road.
yeah.
Yeah. So now we are going to move to the NFL. So of course we're kind of going to another big we're going to another big story that's going on right now in the NFL. Dalvin Cook. So we've seen the Jets kind of emerge as a front runner for Dalvin Cook. So what do you think about that for the Jets?
Yeah, over the weeks, Dalvin Cook has shown interest in the Jets. After leaving
Oh,
the
definitely.
Vikings, I feel like, hasn't really shown a lot of interest in the Dolphins over the last couple of weeks, as they were probably the front runner, but now it looks like the Jets are aiming to possibly get Dalvin Cook. If not right now, maybe by October, because Dalvin Cook is still a star running back, and I think he's still a
Right,
top
right,
five running back in this league. He should honestly get signed already.
right. So um there's other teams such as Miami, New England, and the Jets have all shown interest. So out of those teams, you think the Jets are still the favorites?
Yes, I do. Honestly, New England shouldn't even be in the discussion. Honestly, I feel
Mhm.
like it's more of a Miami versus Jets long run, face off.
Right.
If it's not the Jets, it's Miami. Miami needs that running back. They're dealing with a lot of stuff to his health, Jalen Ramsey's injury the past couple of months. But honestly, the Dolphins are dealing with a lot this upcoming season. They got a
Yeah.
new defense coordinator. They have to really, they're dealing with a lot.
Right. Yeah.
The Jets also are dealing with a new quarterback, but I think they're fine right now. They don't have a lot of headlines going on. But I think Dalvin Cook will go to the Jets.
So, um, the Jets have made a lot of moves this offseason and are emerging as possibly one of the top teams in the NFL this year with new quarterbacks, but it's kind of all resting on if all of the things they've been working towards can come together. So how does Cook kind of fit into that team that they've been building up for the past like year or two now?
Yeah, that's the whole point, the whole reason he left. That's why he didn't resign with the Vikings, or that's why he kind of left. I feel like he wants to go to a new team. I feel like he fits right in with the Jets. With a brand new quarterback, still MVP caliber. I feel like he still
Oh,
can get
yes.
there.
Mhm.
They also have young talent, a lot of young talent. Over the last couple of years, the Jets have been trying to get a a couple big names. They haven't really been doing it, but
Right, yeah.
over these last couple 3 years, especially in that 2021 draft, they got or the 2022 draft. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Where they got Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. They both won Offensive Rookie and
Right.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. I feel like that's like kind of like they have a lot of talent, but solidifying them with a new running back, a star running back, that would help them for the long run. I think the Jets are the right move.
All right. So my, and then so you were talking about kind of how Miami is dealing with a lot right now, but
Yeah,
could still use this running back. So then for them, what does it mean to them to
it
be
means a
able to
lot.
possibly get him?
Yeah, it means a lot. Honestly, we have Raheem Mostert as the starting running back right now for the Miami
Right,
Dolphins.
yeah.
No offense, I mean he's a great running back, but Dalvin Cook would be such a big upgrade. And honestly, if Dalvin Cook goes to the Miami Dolphins, they're easily a Super Bowl contender. I don't even think we should be joking about it anymore. I mean, Tua looks like he's ready to play. They got Jalen Ramsey, even though he's hurt. If he gets surgery and it goes well, the Dolphins are
Yeah.
right in there for the Super
So
Bowl contention.
and back we're kind of flip-flopping a lot, but back to the Jets again. Do you
Yeah,
see them right now without Cook as a Super Bowl contender?
I do not. I think they're a first round exit, and I'll tell you why. The
Okay, this should
Jets,
get fun.
listen, they have a quarterback that is also, he could also possibly win another MVP, but he is old. Don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers
Yeah,
is great, but he is getting old.
right,
I
yeah.
don't really think that the Jets will win a Super Bowl maybe in the next 50 years. I listen, I don't know. I don't really think they will. They're in a really tough division with the Dolphins, the Bills, and the
Yeah,
Patriots
yeah.
anymore. I don't even know if the Patriots even in that discussion anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah, the Jets, honestly, they have a really good team. They're young, besides the quarterback, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really think they'll be a Super Bowl contender within the next 5 years. If not, maybe 10. But yeah, right now we're looking. It's not.
So, what I have to say about the Jets is that they've worked really hard to get where they are right now. Like, and
Oh,
I
definitely.
don't,
Yeah.
but I don't know if the Rodgers trade was the final piece of the puzzle that they really needed to finish this whole thing, because Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but is their offense good enough? Is their defense good enough to get the stops they need? They need everything to come together for them to be a real Super Bowl contender. And I think it's starting to, but like you said, I don't know if it's enough what they've done. And a lot is riding on Aaron Rodgers to perform, because otherwise the entire team essentially falls apart.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like Hard Knocks gives them another pressure point, and I don't know if they can succeed with that. Like, they're dealing with a lot right now. They have a lot of pressure on them with the team. Will they
Yeah.
make the playoffs? Could they make a huge underdog story to the Super Bowl? But it really just depends by midseason, by the trade deadline. What moves will they make? Will they sign Dalvin Cook? It really just depends on that. And the Jets are a great team, a great organization, but right now, again, I don't really think they're gonna make it.
So speaking of kind of you're talking about the AFC East there. This is something that we're going to do every week until we get to the end of all the divisions. So we're going to
Standings,
start
yeah.
with both of the East divisions, and we are going to do division standing predictions for you. So we're going to start with the NFC and AFC East for this week. So how about we just get started with the AFC East, because we were kind of just discussing them and how that's going to
Yeah.
shape up. So I guess I'll let you go first.
Oh yeah, all
And
right.
so what do you got as the final standings order for that's going to be at the end of this 2023-2024 season for the AFCs?
So in the number one spot, I would be taking the Buffalo Bills.
All right.
They're obviously the favorite. Honestly, everyone's saying, "Oh, it's the Jets." No, it's not. It's not going to be the Jets or the Dolphins. Sadly, it's not going to be the Dolphins. Personally, I would love them, but it's going to be the Bills.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is going for an MVP unless the Madden curse is really true. He's going for that first MVP of his. But in the second slot, I do have the Miami Dolphins. This is a
Ooh.
hot take. A hot take.
Ooh.
Many people would say the Jets, but personally, I think the Dolphins got it in the second.
All right. When I said the Jets didn't might not fully have what it takes, I didn't mean to take it that extreme.
Yeah.
When I do my picks, I'll explain why, but you can keep going.
Yeah. So obviously at the third spot, we're gonna take the Jets.
Yeah.
And I do have them at a good record though. 11-6 is not bad. And I also have the Dolphins 12-5. Just a win over.
Yeah.
They do play at the end of the season. Those on Black Friday, and there's just one Sunday game they have. But I do think the Dolphins will win one of those, and that one win will solidify them in the playoffs. I don't feel
Yeah.
like the Jets will make it to the playoffs, but it really just depends, how it goes
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. So then you have
And
the Patriots last.
yeah, the Patriots obviously in the last place, but I kind of this is a huge hot take. I have them going 5-12.
Ooh.
I it's not
Okay.
it's not very
All right. All right.
soothing, but you know.
So you have them going 5-12.
Yes, I
What do
do.
they what do what do they need for that? So actually, let's just back it up and talk about the Patriots real quick.
Yeah.
How are they gonna rebuild now that they are probably the worst team in their division? Like the Jets have been able to come back and kind of overtake them out of nowhere. So what do the Patriots need to do to get back in their division?
They're obviously not going to get Dalvin Cook. That's not even a discussion, honestly, at this point. And it's not even the coaching's fault. They have great coaching, honestly. Bill Belichick's a Hall of Famer with 6 Super Bowls. I mean, he's great, man. But the Patriots right now don't have the system rent like currently to be in the top three of their division or in the AFC. I don't think they will make a playoff anytime soon. They were close last season. They were just right there, but I don't see them. They have the coaching, obviously. They
Right.
have,
Yeah.
some good players, but I just think it's a rebuilding process. But we just have to see going forward, like who do they need right now. Personally, I don't know who they need. Like, it's a hard league right now to like see where people are gonna go by the trade deadline. But yeah,
Right.
honestly, I don't. That's why they're gonna be in last place.
So I guess I'll do mine now. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bills, obviously, I
Oh yeah, for sure.
for the Jets to make that big of like a leap and overtake the Bills in the division would be probably the underdog story of the NFL this season. But and the upset of the NFL this season. I don't think they have it. Even if Rodgers performs even better than he did when he won the MVP a couple years ago, I don't think the Jets have enough to be better than the Bills. So, and note that I'm not talking about the Dolphins here. Yeah.
Yeah,
But we got the Bills 1. I do think the Jets are good enough for 2. I
uh,
think I I think if Aaron Rodgers is going to be as good as advertised for the Jets and really fill the gap that this team has had for the last couple seasons, I think they'll be good enough.
but remember, Andrew, they have a lot of pressure on them. They have the Hard Knocks documentary, but Aaron Rodgers coming into the season is like he just has like a chip over his shoulder. I don't really think like he's gonna perform exceeding wise. And again, like I just feel like the Dolphins are gonna be way better when they get Jalen Ramsey back in that cornerback one slot. They're gonna be crazy. They're gonna go out and they're gonna compete for a Super Bowl.
So, I mean, I agree with that the Dolphins can still compete, but I think right now, if you look at the two teams on paper and you see what the Jets got, I think the Jets can stay ahead. So the Dolphins, then I obviously got third.
Yeah.
So listen, Tua is a good QB. But he's and Tyreek Hill obviously is one of the best receivers in the league.
Hey, he's going for 2,000 yards this season. Just
Uh,
watch.
oh, I'm sure he is, but I'm sure he hopes to be going for 2,000 yards. But is that duo enough to take the Dolphins into the playoffs? Is that there? Because I mean, you're the Miami fan, but just talking about that team there, what other weapons would you say they have?
I mean, obviously you're not gonna leave out the Penguin himself,
Okay,
Jalen Waddle. There's no way you are. Listen, Jalen Waddle's a great second string receiver.
oh, definitely. But like the number 1 and 2 weapons, you got Tua and Tyreek
Oh
Hill
yeah,
there, and
but I
if even one of them doesn't perform, what's the state of this team going to be?
still gonna exceed well. I feel like they have a great amount of stars on the team. They have like the defense. Christian Wilkins. They have the new
Mhm.
defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. He's great, man. He's one of the. I would say personally, not biased here. I think he is the best defensive coordinator in the league right now.
Ooh.
But obviously the cornerbacks are a little shaky right now. We've had the secondary is a little shaky. We lost Eric Rowe in the offseason, but after getting Jalen Ramsey, obviously he went down with an injury regarding Tyreek Hill in training camp. I do think, the Dolphins are gonna bounce back when he comes back from injury. And I think they're gonna exceed, honestly. They're really gonna go
Yeah,
far in the playoff run. Just
yeah.
like the Miami Heat did, just like
Yeah,
the Panthers did, and just like an 8 seed.
the battle of the Titans there in training camp. But I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing what you're saying, and I'm not saying that the Dolphins can't be ahead of the Jets this year, but I think if you look at the Jets right now, and if all of the pieces that they've been like putting together can perform, I think the Jets are going to be ahead of the Dolphins and the Patriots, as we talked about. The
Yeah,
Patriots, I mean, they're. I don't think that they can be better than the Jets or the Patriots. Or I
definitely
mean, the
not.
Jets and the Dolphins. If the Jets just don't shape up to what they were supposed to be, fine. If the Dolphins don't shape up to what they were supposed to be, fine. If somehow the Bills don't shape up what they're supposed to be,
Yeah,
fine. But the Patriots, I don't see anything right now.
yeah, no, neither do I. Also, how about we go to the NFC East?
Yeah.
So what do you? Yeah, yeah. What do you have there, Andrew?
So we went from your favorite team in the AFC East to
To
my favorite team
yours,
in the
the Giants.
NFC
Yes.
East. So this is going to be really tough for me. And honestly, I haven't put a lot of thought into this, so I'm just going to kind of go off what I'm truly thinking. No,
Yeah.
can I start last and go to first? I think I'm going to start last.
Yeah,
And go
yeah,
to
yeah.
first.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I think we already know who's first.
The Commanders are going to be in
Oh yeah,
last.
definitely.
I don't know what to say about the Commanders, but they were last year they were competing for a little while there, and I think that they're not going to be able to this year.
I mean, they do
Next,
have Eric
yeah,
Bieniemy, the coach from, he the
yeah,
I forgot if he was like one of the coordinators for the Chiefs. He was great.
yeah,
They
right, right,
they've won
and
2 championships with him.
right,
So
and of course they've got Scary Terry as
yeah,
their big weapon. But again, you got the weapon there, but is that enough?
no, I don't. I personally don't think it's enough, and that's why I
I
have
don't
him at
think
my
it's enough.
I have him at my fourth slot too.
Yeah.
And honestly,
So
my standing with them is really bad, so I'm not even gonna say it.
okay. So number 3. Listen, if the
Like,
Giants if the Giants can repeat what they did last year, they're not going to be in third. But listen, if we're looking at what this team is right now, if Saquon can perform like he did last year, if Jones can have an even better season than he had last year, they're not going to be in third. But I got to say, in my standings predictions, they're going to be in third. But I think that they're still going to be able to be up there, and I still think that they're going to be able to fight for a playoff spot. But just from the looks of it right now, and I mean, they're looking good in training camp. Like, you have the draft picks, they're looking good. And we saw in the first preseason game the other day against the Lions, the defense was looking a lot better than was expected because we
yeah,
lost a lot of defensive like players over the offseason this year. Love was one of our best defensive
yeah.
players.
Julian Love was great, man. Yeah,
And we lost him this offseason. But being able to see a Julian Love like interception on the first play of the Lions Giants
preseason game.
game,
Yeah.
yeah, preseason game was really nice to see, and it gave me a lot of hope. But I'm sorry, Big Blue, we got to put you in 3.
No, I totally agree, and I'm gonna take a shot, and I'm gonna guess that your second slot is easily the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean
again.
they're not winning first. They're not getting
I
first.
I don't like any of these teams.
Oh yeah,
As a
yeah,
As a Giants fan, I can't. Cowboys are not good enough to get first. Are you kidding me?
exactly.
They're not even gonna come close. And listen, the Cowboys are a special team. Don't get me wrong. They don't have what it takes, especially once you get to the postseason. If they do make it to the postseason, as a Giants fan, I hope they don't. Um, what are they gonna truly do in the postseason? Like, from what we've seen the last couple of years, what's actually gonna happen if they make it to the postseason?
Honestly, I don't even see them getting out of the second round. Maybe even the first. They have a great team, have a great defense, a great
Oh yeah,
offense.
of course,
I
yeah.
mean, Dak Prescott is questionable, obviously, but it really just depends on how the team performs coming into the playoffs. Obviously last season they beat Tom Brady in the Bucks and ended his career.
Right.
See, the problem is they're probably not going to face a
So
40-year-old quarterback. That's not going to happen. I mean, they might have their season ended in the first round again this upcoming season.
yeah, I would, again, as a Giants fan, please. But
Yeah,
I agree with that. Having a shaky quarterback, I don't know is if that's like the best decision for your team. Um,
yeah,
because I
exactly.
mean the quarterback, like we were talking about, the Jets makes or breaks a team. What are they gonna do? But last year, against the Giants, when the Giants were at home last year, um, I'm sorry, can you remind me of the Cowboys' second string quarterback's name?
Oh, all I can think of is Ben DiNucci, but obviously he's not
Yeah.
the second string. Boy, maybe. Oh no, I can't think honestly right now. To be
Oh
honest.
yeah. So last year they had their second string quarterback play, I think, 3/4 of the Giants Cowboys game
Yeah.
at home against the Giants. Or I mean the Giants were home against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And we lost that one. And that wasn't even Dak Prescott. So
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's like the Giants are such a special team, but the problem is like when they face like a rival opponent, like for example, like the Eagles and the Cowboys, it's always you always see the Cowboys and the Eagles winning. I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I saw the Giants beating either of those two teams, and I'm just saying, like I don't think I could possibly remember in time when they beat them.
yeah. And I'm gonna say in first place, I'm not even gonna say their name because it hurts me too much to say
I'll
the
go.
are gonna be
Go
in first
Eagles.
place. Oh, okay. The what you said are gonna
Fly, Eagles
probably
fly.
okay.
Yep.
They're probably well, not probably. They're hopefully not. But statistically speaking, and looking at their team,
Their team,
are
exactly.
are
Number
are
one.
gonna be in first place.
Andrew, me and your like standing prediction is the same for the NFC East. So we only have one mismatch, which is the Dolphins and the Jets. And obviously I'm a little biased, but I
That's a
am gonna say
little
yeah.
biased
All right.
there. So I think that's enough NFL talk, even though the NFL is there's just so much to talk about in right
Yeah,
now, and we're
everything a
about to
lot,
get to the
yeah.
season. Don't worry. There'll be a lot more NFL coming up in the next couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But now we are going to go to the MLB. So
Yeah.
the MLB is right smack in the middle of their season, and there's a ton of stuff going on. But we're actually going to back it up a couple weeks and talk about the trade deadline and
Yeah.
in our opinion, the best trade deadline moves that were made. So I don't know. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go
Yeah,
first?
go ahead. You can go first, yeah.
All right. I got Max Scherzer going to the Rangers for cash and Ronald Acuna Jr.'s brother, Luis Angel
Yeah.
Acuna. So that is absolutely huge for the Texas Rangers, and we're going to talk about that more about the Rangers later. But Acuna
Yeah.
is the 40th overall prospect in all of baseball. He's currently in AA, and with that trade, he became the number one prospect in the Mets organization. This is a big win for the Rangers. And there was a lot of discussion about whether the Mets were going to sell or not. So, and with the Mets and the Mets did end up selling their two aces, which were supposed to be the backbone of this team that was going to lead them to the World Series. But the fact that the Rangers were able to get Max Scherzer just makes that team like completes that team and what they've been trying to build. It's like the Jets getting Rodgers. It's complete. It's getting a veteran guy that is still good and he's just completing that team. So I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna be biased again here and say, oh, the Marlins. But yes, I do think the Marlins had a huge trade deadline acquiring Josh Bell. I mean, Josh Bell is huge. I mean, I remember watching him when I used to go to Marlins games on the opposing team. He was great. I remember
Yep.
I
But
was at this
we're
one
being
game.
realistic here. He is
Oh,
not the
oh,
best trade deadline.
but I'm just saying. Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
listen, the first baseman issues that they've had over the last couple of years, they've had like out of position people at the first baseman.
Oh yeah.
Ever since Justin Bour, I don't know if you know who that is. He was great. He was
Yeah.
great with the Marlins, and Derek Jeter came in and ruined everything for us. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, like, I feel like getting a sentimental first baseman that is still young and capable to do what he can do now in today's game, I think is a great piece.
No, yeah, I agree with that, but he as long as he can perform as he did when he was a Cleveland Guardian, and like because he was a Guardian from the start, or yeah, he was a Guardian from the start. He was in Cleveland from the start. Then he went to Washington, and then I think to the Padres. So he really just needs to be the Josh Bell he was a couple of years ago
Yeah, man.
for it to really be a good pick. But let's hear your actual pick.
All right, my actual pick though is going to be Justin Verlander going back home to the Astros.
All right.
And the Mets obviously getting two young prospects in Drew Gilbert and Ryan Clifford. Now, honestly, I don't really know anything about these young farm system guys. I feel like they're kind of like some randoms, but honestly, I feel like getting Justin Verlander back to his hometown, obviously not his home, he's been with the Astros organization for so long in his career. I feel like going back to a team that he's already been with, you know, trying to lead them to another World Series that he's already achieved and already done that. I feel like it helps them a lot, and I think they're gonna do very well from there.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It was good. It was a good trade, and I think the Astros did try to get Verlander over the offseason, just got outbid by Steve Cohen and the Mets. But that, I mean, the Astros were definitely not as, or haven't been as good this year as some have said they were supposed to be. And coming off a World Series win last year with Justin Verlander having one of the best years of his very long career and winning a Cy Young award, losing a piece like that is detrimental to the
Yeah, to
Astros
the
team.
organization. Yeah.
And being able to get him back for two, don't get me wrong, very good minor league outfielders. He,
Personally, all I know is Drew Gilbert. He played at Tennessee. He was great. Obviously, that
yeah,
one walk off he had, that was insane. But yeah, you can keep going.
yeah, but that is huge for the Astros team. And does that put him back in the World Series race and for a repeat? I'm not sure, but we're going to talk about that next. So, who are the World Series favorites after the trade deadline? So, I just want to go back to what I was talking about with the Rangers. I think it's the Texas Rangers. Um, they have kind of came out of nowhere this year. And I mean, the past couple of
Oh
years
yeah, for sure.
they've been picking up a ton of pieces. Like Corey Seager is a good example of someone that they got.
Marcus Semien,
Marcus Semien, Nathan
Nathan
Evaldi.
Evaldi. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Adolis Garcia.
Nathan Evaldi has actually been one of their best pitchers and one of the best pitchers in the league this year. He just came out of nowhere and returned to the form he was in with the Yankees and Red Sox a couple years ago. But and Max Scherzer now at this deadline
Huge.
just completed the Rangers team. And I think from the start, the Rangers were kind of the underdogs to win, but I don't know if they're the underdogs anymore.
And yeah, I think I'm most excited for is Jack Leiter coming to the big leagues. I'm ready for that already with the Rangers. But getting back to where my World Series favorites are, I think it's without a doubt the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
Seeing what they've done over the last couple of months is huge in baseball. I mean, just a couple days ago, they beat the Mets 21-3. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, they've done so much this season, I feel like, and like all these like big name players like Michael Harris coming out of nowhere, like
I mean, Michael
Ozzy
Harris,
Albies.
yeah. And Matt Olson,
Oh,
excuse me,
huge, man.
Matt Olson has currently the most home runs in MLB, more than Shohei Ohtani, who is arguably going to be one of the greatest baseball players of
Yeah,
all
I
time.
think I think he's
But
gonna.
not just for his home run hitting, because of course the fact that he can pitch too. But Matt Olson has probably been the biggest, like the most underrated player up to this point. Now we're seeing he has the
He's
most home
evolved.
runs
I
in
feel like he's
baseball.
yeah.
He's evolved. He has the most home runs in baseball, and that is crazy. And we're looking at Ronald Acuna Jr., who is having his like second coming, his like next breakout year. We got um Matt Olson, Michael Harris. That team is crazy. I actually agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
Maybe a Rangers uh, Braves World Series. That'd be fun. So
yeah.
we're gonna close off every episode with a fast fact or two. So
Yeah.
our first fast fact is that LeBron James will be changing his number uh back to 23
From
this year
six.
to
Yeah.
honor from 6 to honor Celtics legend Bill Russell. So as our first fast fact. Our second fast fact is that Jose Bautista has signed a 1-day contract with the Blue Jays, and this is in order to finish his illustrious career with the Toronto Blue Jays.
I love
And
it.
yeah, and that will conclude our first episode of the Sports Coverage Podcast. are going to see you next week. So make sure you tune in, follow all of our socials that are all over the screen. And we'll see you soon. I'm Andrew alongside Vince, and we are signing off.